Britain in the 1980s was rebuilding its confidence on four wheels. Showrooms buzzed with new technology, sharper styling, and a motor industry desperate to compete. Families queued for test drives. Businessmen chased prestige badges. Young enthusiasts dreamed of turbocharged glory. Engineers experimented boldly, sometimes brilliantly, sometimes recklessly. Some strange creations looked genuinely exciting, wrapped in optimism and clever marketing. But behind the showroom lighting, ownership became something else entirely. Rust crept in. Electrics failed. Reliability crumbled. Today on Britain Rewind we are counting down 10 strange British cars of the 1980s that left owners with deep regret. And the car at number 1 will shock even loyal enthusiasts. Number 10. Austin Maestro. Launched in 1982, the Maestro arrived as British Leyland's answer to increasingly sophisticated European rivals. Buyers expected modern engineering wrapped in a practical hatchback body, and early press coverage promised exactly that. Its boxy styling felt fresh, almost futuristic, especially with the now infamous solid-state dashboard offering a synthesized voice warning system, a genuine novelty for 1980s Britain. Underneath sat a range including the 1.3-litre A-series and later 1.6-litre engines. The digital dash was undeniably clever engineering for its time. But reliability told a different story. Owners reported water leaks around the windscreen, rattling trim, and electrical gremlins affecting that celebrated dashboard. The advanced engine management system, meant to impress, frequently left cars stranded instead. Buyers who'd been promised the future found themselves booking repeated garage visits. Disappointment set in quickly, especially among company car drivers who trusted the badge. What seemed like innovation on paper became a genuine headache in daily use. But another strange British car would push owner patience even further. Number 9. Austin Montego. By 1984, British Leyland desperately needed a fleet market hit, and the Montego arrived carrying enormous expectations. Sharing its platform with the Maestro, it targeted company car drivers who wanted comfort, badge prestige, and dependable transport for the motorway miles ahead. Styling was conservative but purposeful, while under the bonnet sat everything from a humble 1.3-litre engine through to a 2.0-litre turbo aimed squarely at performance buyers. That turbo variant genuinely excited enthusiasts, promising real pace from a British saloon. Yet quality control undermined the ambition. Early cars suffered rust in vulnerable areas, and the celebrated LCD instrument display, cutting edge on launch, proved troublesome and was quietly withdrawn. Fleet buyers who'd chosen the Montego over rivals from Ford and Vauxhall often regretted it within a year or two. Resale value suffered badly. Few could have predicted just how quickly that early enthusiasm would fade into quiet embarrassment on company car parks. The car at number 8 took strangeness somewhere entirely different. Number 8. Reliant Scimitar SS1. Introduced in 1984, the SS1 was Reliant's bold attempt to reinvent itself as a maker of affordable, sporty two-seaters. Buyers walking into showrooms expected a spirited little roadster with genuine driving fun, and Michelotti's angular styling certainly turned heads, love it or loathe it. Power came initially from a 1.3-litre Ford engine, later joined by a 1.6-litre unit and eventually a Nissan Turbo variant offering real pace. The fiberglass body, a Reliant speciality, kept weight impressively low. But handling proved nervous at the limit, and build quality felt inconsistent for the asking price. Owners expecting refined sports car dynamics instead found twitchy behavior that demanded real concentration. Interior fittings often felt cheap against rivals like the MG Midget's spiritual successors. Many buyers who dreamed of open-top thrills found themselves nursing an awkward, occasionally frightening companion instead. Would you have trusted your weekend drives to something this unpredictable? The next entry took disappointment into luxury territory entirely. Number 7. Rover 800. Arriving in 1986, the Rover 800 was meant to restore British luxury credibility, developed jointly with Honda to combine European comfort with Japanese dependability. Buyers expected exactly that fusion, a genuine executive saloon capable of troubling BMW and Mercedes on the motorway. Styling was smooth and confident, while the range topped out with a 2.7-liter Honda-sourced V6 offering genuine refinement. Engineering collaboration promised the best of both manufacturing cultures. Yet the British-built cars suffered notably more electrical faults and trim issues than their Honda legend cousin built from the same blueprint. Fleet buyers and private purchasers alike grew frustrated with dashboard rattles and inconsistent panel fit. If you're enjoying these forgotten British motoring stories, a quick like genuinely helps the channel preserve more automotive history. The gap between Rover's ambition and its execution left many owners wondering what might have been. But the car at number 6 revisited an old name with new problems. Number 6, Vauxhall Belmont. By 1986, Vauxhall needed a saloon companion for the popular Astra hatchback, and the Belmont arrived as exactly that, essentially a rebadged Opel Kadett wearing a 3-box boot. Buyers expected sensible, no-nonsense family transport, backed by Vauxhall's growing reputation for dependability. Styling was deliberately conservative, almost anonymous, powered by familiar 1.3 and 1.6-liter petrol engines shared across the wider Astra range. The genuine engineering strength lay in that shared platform, proven mechanicals borrowed from a car already popular across Europe. Yet the Belmont struggled with an identity crisis, feeling like an afterthought bolted onto an existing design rather than a car conceived on its own terms. Company car drivers found the boot ungainly and the styling forgettable against sharper rivals. Buyers who'd expected genuine distinctiveness instead got badge engineering dressed as innovation. Resale values lagged noticeably behind its hatchback sibling. Sometimes the strangest disappointment isn't mechanical failure at all, but a car nobody quite wanted. The next entry took ambition somewhere far more exotic. Number 5, AC3000 ME. Conceived in the early 1970s but only reaching customers in 1979, the AC3000 ME carried its striking mid-engine promise deep into the new decade. Buyers expected a genuine homegrown rival to the Lotus Esprit, wrapped in dramatic wedge-shaped fiberglass bodywork. Power came from Ford's 3.0-liter Essex V6, mounted transversely behind the seats through a specially developed Hewland gearbox. That mid-engine layout represented serious engineering ambition for a tiny, low-volume British manufacturer. But by the time cars finally reached showrooms, the design already felt outdated against newer rivals, and buyers noted unsettling high-speed handling alongside heavy, awkward low-speed steering. Development delays had pushed the price from an original estimate near £3,000 to over £11,000, deterring cautious buyers entirely. Owners who'd waited years for delivery often found performance underwhelming for the asking price. Fewer than 80 cars left the Thames Ditton factory before production quietly ceased. The dream of a British Esprit beater never truly recovered from its own hesitation. But another manufacturer's ambition would prove even stranger still. Number 4, Austin Metro. Launched in 1980 with enormous fanfare, the Metro was hailed as British Leyland's saviour, a genuinely important supermini meant to fend off Ford's Fiesta and imported rivals. Families expected a compact, economical car built with newfound British confidence, and initial reception was remarkably positive. Styling was neat and practical, while engines ranged from a humble 1.0-liter A-series through to sportier MG variants later in the decade. The production process itself, heavily automated at Longbridge, represented genuine manufacturing innovation for Britain. Yet rust proved catastrophic, with bodywork corroding at an alarming rate that shocked even seasoned owners. Cars barely a few years old showed serious structural corrosion, undermining safety and resale value simultaneously. Families who'd trusted British engineering found their supposedly modern car aging faster than rivals from Europe and Japan. Few buyers saw what was coming when they signed on the dotted line. But another manufacturer made an even stranger decision at number 3. Number 3, Reliant Rialto. Launched in 1982 as a successor to the aging Robin, the Rialto arrived with a genuine 12-month waiting list, proof that Britain still had appetite for three-wheeled motoring. Buyers, often holders of motorcycle licenses seeking cheap running costs, expected the same tax advantages and remarkable economy the Robin had offered, now wrapped in sharper, wedge-shaped fiberglass styling. Power came from a modest 848cc four-cylinder engine, mounted just behind that single front wheel, returning fuel economy approaching 70 miles per gallon. The galvanized chassis represented a genuine engineering improvement over the Robin's rust-prone frame. But that single front wheel invited persistent public skepticism about stability, and cramped cabin space left the engine intruding awkwardly into footwell territory. Servicing proved genuinely difficult despite added access panels, frustrating owners who simply gave up reaching the motor themselves. Buyers who'd expected practical, everyday transport instead grew self-conscious behind the wheel, aware of every curious glance from passing traffic. Few cars invited quite so much unwanted attention at the traffic lights. What sat at number 2 stunned even devoted enthusiasts. Number 2. TVR Tasmin. Introduced in 1980, the Tasmin marked a dramatic styling departure for TVR, replacing curvaceous predecessors with sharp, angular Oliver Winterbottom-designed bodywork. Enthusiasts expected TVR's traditional thunderous performance wrapped in bold new fiberglass. Engines ranged from Ford's 2.8-liter V6 through to the later, genuinely potent Rover V8 in 3.5 and 3.9-liter form. That V8 delivered real excitement, blistering acceleration that thrilled owners lucky enough to master it. But handling remained notoriously unforgiving, punishing anything less than complete respect and concentration. Build quality, typical of low-volume British sports car manufacturing, varied considerably between individual examples. Electrical faults plagued many cars, while the styling itself divided opinion sharply among TVR's traditional customer base. Owners expecting refined grand touring instead found a demanding, occasionally treacherous companion requiring constant vigilance. The final two completely changed how Britain remembered ambitious 1980s engineering. Could you have trusted your nerve to something this unpredictable every single day? Number 1. Austin Ambassador. Launched in March 1982, the Ambassador was British Leyland's attempt to finally fix the aging Princess, adding a long-overdue hatchback to that car's distinctive wedge silhouette. Buyers expected a genuinely modern, practical executive car, backed by the promise of proper quality control this time around. Styling remained boldly angular, unmistakably related to its predecessor, powered by 1.7 and 2.0-liter O-series engines, the latter offering up to 100 horsepower in twin carburetor form. The lowered bonnet line and improved cabin represented genuine engineering refinement over the Princess. But rust attacked the bodywork with alarming speed, while electrical faults and warped brake discs left owners stranded on ordinary journeys. Reviewers noted worryingly loose fittings and inconsistent panel gaps straight from the factory floor. Buyers who'd trusted British Leyland's promised turnaround instead found themselves back in familiar territory, disappointed and out of pocket. Production lasted barely 2 years, with just over 43,000 cars built before the model quietly disappeared entirely. What started as redemption became one of British Leyland's most absolute disasters of the entire decade. The 1980s taught Britain's motor industry a painful lesson: bold ideas without disciplined execution create expensive regret rather than lasting pride. Innovation, ambition, and genuine engineering talent existed throughout this decade, yet rust, electrical gremlins, and inconsistent quality control repeatedly undermined brilliant intentions. Owners who trusted British badges often paid dearly for that loyalty, in repair bills, in resale losses, in simple daily frustration. Which of these 10 surprised you most? Would you have actually driven one home, despite everything you now know? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring the strange, forgotten corners of Britain's motoring past with us.